Do you really need to pay to skip the line in Hollywood Studios?
I have Lightning Lane.
And I don't.
And we are going to put it to the test. Today, I have purchased 2 different Lightning Lane options for Disney's Hollywood Studios. I have purchased Lightning Lane Multipass for $35 and a Lightning Lane Single Pass for Star Wars Rise of the Resistance for $25. That is a per person fee, and you can book your Lightning Lanes 7 days in advance of your check-in day if you are a Disney World Resort hotel guest for the length of your trip, or 3 days in advance of your actual park day if you are not a hotel guest. So yes, 3 days ago, I woke up early, 7 a.m., brutal, and I went and booked my Lightning Lanes. You get to select 3 Lightning Lanes before your purchase goes through, before you confirm your purchase, to make sure that you are at least going to get those and you'll get your money's worth. And you can select these Lightning Lanes from a tiered list. In every park except for Animal Kingdom, when you're booking in advance, you will have to book using the tiers. You can book one Tier 1 attraction, while your other 2 have to come from the Tier 2 attractions. This sounds complicated, but it's actually pretty simple. That list that looks of all the good rides that you really want to skip the lines for, you can only have one of those in advance. And then once you're in the park, you scan into your first Lightning Lane, you can throw all of that out the window and stop thinking about it. The tier system goes away. You can book 3 Tier 1s all at once, but you have to have used your first Lightning Lane. Don't let this stress you out too much. It definitely sounds more confusing than it actually is in practice. So in advance, I booked the most competitive Lightning Lane in the park, which is Slinky Dog Dash, as well as a couple Tier 2s, the most competitive Toy Story Mania and Tower of Terror out of that tier. Now, leading up to my day in the park, I did periodically check if I could get some better times. Just like when I thought about it, I would pop on and see if there was anything else available. And I was able to move my Lightning Lanes up a whole lot earlier than I originally got. And that also happened for my Lightning Lane Single Pass, Rise of the Resistance.
Now, it's not that I don't like Lightning Lane Multipass or that I'm against using it. I love it. I love the loophole that we found at AllEars. I love stacking Lightning Lane reservations, being competitive about it, but I also love going to Disney World like it's the 90s. In fact, I made a whole series of videos about going to Disney World without using your phone, and it's one of the most fun series that I've ever done here at AllEars, and we were able to do it largely because of physical tip boards. You'll find in all 4 parks physical tip boards exactly like this that tell you the wait times for every ride in the park. And right now we're looking at the rides that we have to ride. 80-70 is not bad for Rise of the Resistance. What do we have? Commissary Lane, we're not meeting characters. Rock and Roller Coaster 75, Tower of Terror is 50. Maybe we should start with Tower of Terror at 50 minutes. Number 1, because we're close. Number 2, because 50 is actually pretty low for a busy day in Hollywood Studios for Tower of Terror. And 3rd, because I'm wearing a Tower of Terror shirt. And that's really the reason. Well, the queue is extending out past the internal portion of the queue, which is weird that it still says 50 minutes, and we're seeing this, but that might mean they aren't expecting a lot of Lightning Lane reservation returns right now or something. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see how long it really takes. The timer is set. Posted wait 50 minutes, 50. We'll see how long it really is. As the standby rider today, I won't be using any single rider lines because we're doing this as if we're a family of 4. But that means Quincy's paying for multi-pass for 4 people. $35 it's priced at today, which is a total of $140 for all 4 family members. Add on to that the Rise of the Resistance Single Pass, which is $25 per person. That comes to an extra $100, totaling $240 this family of 4 is spending to skip lines today in Hollywood Studios. We are paying $0. So keep that in mind while you're doing your own scoring today.
All right, my first Lightning Lane this morning is going to be for Tower of Terror. Ooh, what a way to start the day. We are starting a little bit later. The Lightning Lane is at 10:35. It's 10:36 right now. So we are gonna scan in with that one first. Now, let me go ahead and drop my first tip, which you'll see I'm kind of using, kind of not using this morning. And that is the passkey or burner attraction. So when you book your Lightning Lanes in advance, like we talked about, you can get up to 3 Lightning Lanes confirmed before you hit purchase. Now you have that tier system where you can only get one of the more popular rides and your others have to come from the lower tier. That tier system goes out the window as soon as you use your first Lightning Lane in the day. So you want to make sure you have a Lightning Lane within the first hour or 2 of the park day to make sure sure that you don't have to deal with not being able to book the good lightning lanes because Slinky Dog Dash is locking you out of it. As soon as I finish scanning into the Tower of Terror attraction, I will be able to book another Tier 1 lightning lane even though I still have Slinky Dog Dash. So it's important to get a lightning lane early. Sometimes this means getting a lightning lane that you don't super want. You might want to grab Star Tours because you can scan into it right at 9 a.m. But if you can try to get a burner that is really good, like I did this morning with Tower of Terror. It's a little later than I'd like, but it's a ride that I really wanted, so that is worth the trade. And now we're in the Tower of Terror, where we're going to rise into the Twilight Zone, which should be fine. I guess the video will know because I don't know that I can ride anything from the Twilight Zone. Didn't think this through.
We're at the 37-minute mark in the queue, and we're just about to enter the indoor portion of the queue. But today it's looking like we're gonna get 50 minutes walking into the pre-show, which means we still have a significant wait when we get out of the pre-show. How many times can I say pre-show?
That was a crazy Tower of Terror. If you don't know, the Tower of Terror drop sequence is randomized, so it's different every time you ride. And today, I had a really wild one. It was like a ton of huge drops, like massive drops, and just like so many like shocking moments. If I wasn't awake before, I'm awake now. All right, so as soon as I scanned into Tower of Terror does have 2 scan points. So there's the one down here and there's one up in the lobby. There are a few attractions that do have 2 scan points. When that happens, you can't book a new lightning lane until you go through the second scan point. I've seen folks ask us before, like, oh, which attractions have 2? And sometimes the ones that have 2 don't have 2, so I don't like to give a list. Really, what I would just recommend is once you scan into the first point, check if you can book a new lightning lane. If you can't, there's a second scan point. But as soon as we scanned into our second scan point at Tower of Terror, I was able to book a new lightning lane. I went ahead and grabbed a rock and roller coaster for around 4 p.m. That's, of course, way later than I'd like. So I started looking to modify. Now, modifying is your bread and butter when you have lightning lane. If you really want to make the most of it, if you really want the good times, you are going to want to modify. To do this, all you do is you tap on one of your lightning lane reservations. I recommend the one you want to keep the least, and you hit modify. From there, it will take you to a screen where you can see all of the different attractions you can modify to across all 4 parks. You'll want to continuously refresh this screen until you see a time pop up that looks really good. Now, this is competitive. A lot of people are doing this, but people are constantly canceling. Occasionally, Disney will drop new batches of lightning lanes for certain attractions. So you want to be refreshing on the screen to look for when those better times pop up. By doing this, I was able to get an 11:20 a.m. Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. That is only 15 minutes from now. So it's pretty easy for me to stroll on over and get that 11:20 lightning lane from Millennium Falcon so that I can keep booking lightning lanes and keep skipping lines.
And this is the 50-minute mark, 50. We are past the pre-show and we are close to boarding the ride, but we're not quite there yet. So it sort of splits the difference between calling it at the pre-show and calling it when we've actually boarded the ride.
Now, as I head over to my Millennium Falcon lightning lane that's at 11:20, I just walked by Rise of the Resistance. Made me think to check if I could move my single pass any earlier. One thing that a lot of folks don't know is that you can get better single pass times by modifying as well. Now, you can't check this in the same screen where you're refreshing for all the other modifies, but I will show you how to do it. So if you go from any screen where you can see your lightning lanes, whether that be the wait times and Showtime screen that I'm on right now, or the lightning lane passes screen, or the My Plans screen, from any of those screens, you can see your lightning lanes. If you go from any of those screens and you tap on the lightning lane you want to check on, you can hit modify selection. And you may have seen my Rise lightning lane was for after 3 p.m. I popped in to modify my single pass and I saw that there was a 12:35 available. Was able to book it right here. So all I would do then is hit that change time and it would show me what new time I was going to get. Make sure to double check this because sometimes that time, you might lose the time while that screen is loading and you'll end up with like a worse time or no time right here. So make sure you don't confirm without looking. but I was able to modify my Rise Lightning Lane to be 3 hours earlier than it otherwise was. In fact, it would be the next thing I do, which would mean I wouldn't have to bebop all around the park, which would be great. And just like that, I got a Toy Story Mania that was 3 hours earlier than my other one, all the way up into the noon area instead of down by 3, which is great. A big criticism of Lightning Lane is that you have to spend a lot of time during the day on your phone, which is true. You do have to do a lot of refreshing, but it's not like I'm spending 10 minutes at a time not looking at my family and just refreshing my Lightning Lane. I only refreshed for 2 minutes there and was able to get a better Lightning Lane for a ride that has been almost completely sold out all day. Literally just while I was walking from one place to the next. It is the same amount of time that you might pick up your phone and scroll for a second on Instagram or check your Facebook DMs. So I definitely don't recommend if you're not having any luck, like sitting there forever and ignoring your family while you try to get better Lightning Lanes. But if every once in a while you just for like 2 or 3 minutes refresh a little bit, you will have a lot of luck. It's also an extremely busy day today. The wait time for Millennium Falcon right now is 90 minutes. In fact, let me show you guys the wait times. 90 for Millennium Falcon, 70 for Rise, 70 Slinky, 70 Rock and Roller, an hour for Toy Story Mania. And this is kind of the lowest I've seen them this morning since the crowd started to pick up. So it is busy, busy. Now, I am here a bit early for my Millennium Falcon Lightning Lane. It is only 11:13. My Lightning Lane starts at 11:20, but the good news is I can scan in 5 minutes early, which means at 11:15, I'll be able to go scan in for my Lightning Lane and get started on booking my next. Jeez, the posted wait time just went to 120 minutes. Oh, that's a pretty good line we're skipping here.
That was great. Not the scariest combination I've ever experienced. Of course, it is randomized and you get different scenes. Number 4 is the scene that has the smell that I talked a lot about on social media and in videos, but we didn't have that one this time. We did have a fake out at the end that was very effective. It seemed like it was the end, and it was not the end. All right, it's time to hit up a tip board and see what's next. But first I'm gonna put on my sunglasses. I decided to stop next door at Rock and Roller Coaster. 80 minutes has been the posted wait time now for a couple of hours. So I'm debating whether to just get in line now because it might get longer later, or maybe everybody's gonna ride it and get it out of their system. Let's give this one some time to simmer. But Rock and Roller Coaster, there's a big resurgence in popularity for it because it's going to close soon and turn into a Muppets ride. And when it turns into a Muppets ride, there'll be a whole new resurgence of interest because of the fact that people love the Muppets, and it'll be practically a whole new ride, or at least a lot of the experience of the ride will be new. In any event, I am gonna go ahead to the tip board that I see up here on my left. Oh, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway is down to 55 minutes. That's under an hour. I think that's great for that ride. Literally, I just saw it flash on the screen and disappear. So we're gonna take that and run with it. We're off to Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. We're just at the 18-minute mark and we're already in the pre-show, which is incredible.
I just had the best ride on Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. That ride is really one that is a lot of fun with friends and family, which I am often riding it alone. And I got very lucky and I ended up with a mom and a dad with their 3 kids, their 3 boys. And I always let people pick what roles they want when I'm with them because I have the luxury of getting to ride it all the time. And the little boy was like, only one of the little boys wanted to be the pilot. So they were like, you get to be the pilot, which was very nice. But they did so well. They got 2 containers of Pixium and they loved it. And they were like, the little boys were all shouting at like their dad, like, you have to shoot the missiles down. It was just so cute. And that's like when that ride is really fun. So I got to kind of like glorp onto that. Glorp on? That's not a word. Anyway, I got to kind of glorp onto that family for the ride. So it was super, super fun. Where am I going now? I think my next Lightning Lane is, it's either Toy Story Mania or Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. I was able to stop refreshing because after I got on Millennium Falcon, I went ahead and I booked that like 4 p.m. Rock and Roller Coaster, which is too late, but you know, I grabbed it just to see if we could do better. And as I was refreshing, I saw a 12:45 Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway pop up. I have a 12:15 Toy Story Mania now, which is way better than what it was. And we're pretty close to that. And that is in like about 25 minutes. So I think I'm gonna stick with what I have right now and go ahead and do, I mean, Toy Story Mania, it's 11:52, so really a little less than 20 minutes and I'll be able to scan in at 12:10. So I'm gonna go maybe grab a quick snack before we get to do Toy Story Mania.
Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, a super fun ride, made even more fun when you get to ride it 30 minutes faster than the posted wait time said. Now, I'm looking for new wait times. Gonna find a tip board. I know where one is up here, and we're gonna see what ride we're riding next. A moment of silence for the giant tip board that used to be right there. It was really cool. And then one day it went dark and it never turned back on. RIP. Okay, let's check this out. Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run posted 85 minutes right now. Rise of the Resistance posted 60. That's what we're doing. That is offered as an individual lightning lane, being sold today for the price of $25 per person for our group of 4. That's $100. It's posted as a 60-minute wait time right now, which is great. And we're gonna get in line and see if we can't get more magical luck, just like we did with Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Well, we're headed to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, but on the way we're passing the future home of the new Monsters, Inc. themed land. I've talked before about the fact that my uncle Harley Jessup was the production designer for Ratatouille, so a lot of the elements, the aesthetic of that ride in France and Epcot are based on his artwork, his original concept art for the film. Well, guess what? Monsters, Inc. was the first film that Harley production designed for Pixar ever. And it was back in 2001 that movie came out, and he's been pulling a lot of original concept art out of the vault, going way back to consult on the new land. So I'm very excited about that, and I'm excited to see how Imagineers interpret it and bring it to life. But we've made our way now, magically, to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. We're on Batuu. We're gonna take a little left right here and get right in the queue for Rise of the Resistance. Hopefully that posted wait is still 60 minutes or less. Dare I dream? I don't wanna get greedy. Plus, if I start gloating about this stuff, oh my gosh, it did drop to 50 minutes, 50. This is amazing. I'm afraid we're gonna be punished later. Well, let's just enjoy it while we can.
All right, Toy Story Mania time. You guys, the wait on this right now is a posted 100-minute wait. That is brutal. I do think it's gonna drop because I have seen it's been up high for a minute and it's been fluctuating a lot today, but that's wild. 100-minute wait for Toy Story Mania. This isn't even top 3 most popular rides in the park. But now that I'm scanned in, I'm gonna go ahead and grab our last lightning lane, the Rock and Roller Coaster, and it's probably gonna be too late the day. We'll try to get it earlier. The wait just dropped to 40 minutes. That is such a big fluctuation. Anyway, still skipping a 40-minute wait, which is pretty good.
It looks like the 35-minute mark is when we will be sorted into our section for the pre-show. That's a savings of 15 minutes, but we'll take it on a ride that would cost a family of 4 purchasing individual lightning lanes $100 extra.
I know all the secret targets and I've never gotten higher than the cat. One day. Okay, it's time for both Rise and Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. I'm going to do Mickey and Minnie's first, just because that's what I'd recommend, because Mickey and Minnie's will let me book a new lightning lane, whereas Rise won't, because it's just a single pass. Once I use it, it's gone. So we're gonna do Mickey and Minnie's first. However, I actually do have lightning lanes for all of the rides that are on our list today. So I'm just showing this because it's what you should do, whereas I have actually got through all my must-dos. So I can do them in whatever order I want. I have rockin' for past 7 p.m., which is not gonna cut it. So we are, that's main priority right now, is getting an earlier rock and roller coaster. McKimmon needs a runaway railway. A very fun attraction. You head into the Toon World alongside Mickey and Minnie in their new shorts form. You can see I'm still looking for a better rock and roller coaster time. There are not any that I'm getting. The earliest that I keep seeing pop up is 7:55, which is later than mine. So we are working on that. We'll see how it goes. Right after I said that I would keep working on it, I pulled a 225 for Rocket. That is awesome.
There are not always 2 stormtroopers standing right there. So luckily I had a feeling, and that's why I was filming them. And indeed, that was a good jump scare, even though I was looking out for it.
Gotta say hey to Walt on the way out. Hey Walt. Very fun ride on Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, especially because we only waited about 6 minutes for it. Makes it feel very fun. I'm now headed back into Galaxy's Edge. As you might notice, I am doing a good amount of retracing my steps, zigzagging around the park. Now, the good news about that is that Hollywood Studios is not the biggest park. It's actually pretty easy to get from one side to the other without too much trouble, barring maybe if you need to get from Millennium Falcon to Tower. That is a brutal walk. But Lightning Lane will have you doing a bit of zigzagging if you are getting good times across the park. You might want to walk over there. It's sort of up to you though. You obviously don't have to look for good times that are across the park from where you are. It just might mean skipping more lines if you're willing to zigzag than not. A little easy if you don't use lightning lanes to just not cross the entire park every time you need to do anything. I've got Rise the Resistance next. This is my single pass. But I'm pretty happy with the lightning lanes we have for the remainder of the day. We've got Rise, and then we will have a little break for about like an hour-ish before we can hit our rock and roller coaster. I think it might be a little less than an hour, to be honest, because it's already 1:30. I'm at the very end of my Rise lightning lane. The good news is, it's the same way you can scan in 5 minutes early. Disney does say there's a 15-minute grace period at the end of your lightning lane where you can be late. And bonus, as something we call here loophole, or the Breedlove loophole, because he's the one that discovered it, you absolutely can. Man, they are really tearing down or buffing out the sign marks on the Muppets Theater right now. That is wild. The loophole is that there is actually a secret 2-hour grace period. So for 1 hour and 59 minutes after your lightning lane expires, you can scan into that lightning lane and it will turn green and let you through. Now, the cast members who are looking at the monitor can see that you are late, and it is technically up to their discretion whether they let you in or not. However, we've been using this loophole 4 years at this point, and I have never once been turned away. No one on our team has ever been turned away. And most of the time, your thing goes green, they wave you through, they don't even glance at what time you're supposed to be back. The 2-hour mark after your lightning lane expires is when you will no longer turn green, you'll turn blue, and that's when you might not be so lucky. So that means if you have a lightning lane from 3 to 4, you can actually use that lightning lane until 5:59. Rise the Resistance, incredible ride. Probably the most immersive ride in the world. Makes you feel as if you are really in a Star Wars movie. It is so much a must-do. It is absolutely worth a long wait if you are not buying the skip the line. You wait an hour, even 70 minutes for this. It'll be worth it. It has a single rider, though I don't recommend using the single rider unless you've ridden it many times, because the single rider does skip 2 of the pre-shows, which are very important to the ride. We, however, will get to use the lightning lane here. All right, the posted wait that we're skipping right now is 70 minutes. So that is a good skip for us.
Rise of the Resistance has so many rides inside one ride that it also which ride inside of Rise of the Resistance is your favorite? And I think everybody would have a different answer, every person that you ask. Well, that was certainly a treat to get on there 15 minutes earlier than posted, when it was posted already at 50 minutes, which felt luxurious because it was 10 minutes less than when we saw it posted on a physical, on a physical tip board, which is what we are going to go look for now. Now, of course, when you're doing this, you can use your My Disney Experience app to order food and look at the tip board, but I'm just, besides the fact that I'm holding my phone up to film myself into it, I am leaving it in my pocket and I'm really enjoying my day. But let's see what's next. Okay, let's check this out. Millennium Falcon Smugglers run 85 minutes posted. It's been sticking with that. Rise is down to a posted 45. We're here at this page will not help us right now. Let's look at Slinky Dog is 70 and Toy Story Mania is 65. Rock and Roller Coaster is down to 75. Should we take that opportunity? It's not down by much, but it's down by something, and that might be enough for me. It's been 12 minutes. The line has gotten a lot longer after us, but we're still not inside the actual queue area. We're in the outside extended queue portion, and the wait time has gone up to 85 minutes. Hopefully that's counting after we got in line, and we are still on track to be 75 minutes as was posted when we got in line. But we'll see. We're due for something like this. It's been smooth sailing, and I feel like the waters just got rocky. Get it? Rock in roller coaster. Is that a stretch?
As always, an absolutely incredible ride, and we waited like no time for it, which is the best ever. Okay, I have a little bit of time to kill before my Rock and Lightning Lane. It's 1:54. My Lightning Lane is at 2:35, which means I can scan in at 2:30. So I've got like 25 minutes to kill. I wonder if there is a 2 o'clock show I can see. I could be refreshing to try to get a wait time a little bit earlier, but honestly, I don't feel the need to. I've got a Lightning Lane for Rockin' that is in like 30 minutes, and I have a Lightning Lane for Slinky Dog Dash that is very shortly after that. Doesn't feel like the kind of thing I need to really push, so I might go see if I can catch Little Mermaid, A Musical Adventure is at 2:05. Let's do that. And that'll put us out like right at 2:30, so we can go over to Rock and Roller Coaster from there.
It's been 36 minutes and we are just about to barely get on this ramp, wrap around the outside of the building, and finally make our way inside. This is the 36-minute mark. We're at the 1 hour and 4 minute mark, 64 minutes. Because the ride's closing soon and it's switching from an Aerosmith theme to a Muppets theme, they've already closed the pre-show to start working on it, start changing it over to Muppets. So I'm not going to stop the timer now because we're just still in a queue. This is really nice though. This looks good, the cover for the pre-show.
All right, we are getting a killer skip on Rock and Roller Coaster here. 90-minute wait. We've got to scan that Lightning Lane and skip that. Not too bad. Rock and roll, baby. Done. Only one more. That was great. A long wait there, though. It was honestly about 15 minutes.
73 minutes and we're sorted. It looks like a perfect 75. Perfect guess on that posted wait time.
Which is long for a Lightning Lane.
It's probably my last time riding it, and I will cherish that picture of me rocking out on Rock and Roller Coaster, Aerosmith years, as they may be known. I'm coining that now. Anyway, that was awesome. And perfectly precise at 75 minutes, just as it was posted when we walked in. Nice job. We only have 3 rides left. All of them are back towards Toy Story and Galaxy's Edge. We've got Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, Toy Story Mania, and Slinky Dog Dash. I've been keeping an eye on their times all day. They've been very, very long, so I don't know if the fever is going to break. Sunset Boulevard right now is very busy, and I hope that everyone's here and not over there, or everyone came from the other parks and is spending their evening at Hollywood Studios tonight. This is not good for us.
Okay, I am now headed to my final Lightning Lane, just Slinky Dog Dash. It is in That one's at 35, so I can scan in at 30. So I've got a little under 30 minutes until I can scan in. But if I take a slow pace, it'll take me 10-15 to walk over there anyway. And maybe I could get a treat on the way over there. Ooh, if I got a treat, what would I get? This is the challenge.
All right, Toy Story Mania is posted. 40 minutes. That's a great time for this, especially compared to what we've been seeing all day. And who knows, it could be shorter. So far, we had not encountered a line, so we are indoors, which is great, but it is posted 40 and not 60 or higher, so that bit of space does account for this starting location for the queue. One of the great things about waiting in the standby line for Toy Story Mania is that you get to see Mr. Potato Head. You don't see him at all if you go through the lightning lane. He's freezing because Andy came.
All right, since I have a little bit of extra time before Slinky will open up for me, I did pop down into the Walt Disney Presents exhibit. I absolutely love this exhibit. I highly recommend coming in here. This is an actual concept model that the Imagineers used and worked off of for Disney California Adventure. There is this actual concept map of Disneyland, which looks so cool. They have that original Mouseketeer outfit in here. There's a really cool part. Where is it? Not here, though that's really cool. The actual Academy Award for 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea is sitting in here. That's wild. Probably my favorite thing in here is they do have one of the Abraham Lincoln audio animatronics from Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln. Was actually one of the so crazy. And then they also have like the what's to come. This model was on display at D23 in California when Tropical Americas was fully announced, and you can come see it now sitting in Walt Disney Presents. Anyone can come see it. You don't have to get to D23. You don't have to be at a media event or invited by Imagineers. You can just come see it. There's tons of cool stuff in the back here, and then on top of that, it's honestly a great little mini museum. I'm a big museum buff, and I obviously love Disney, so coming back into this museum is always a must do for me. I also love a little model because it's fun to think about if you were really small and you could walk around in them. But I think that's going to take us about up to time to ride Slinky Dog Dash. What I'm doing right now, is one of the reasons that you get Lightning Lane. To be honest, you have enough time in the day to get through everything you want to do in Disney World. There will rarely, if ever, be a day where you could not get through everything you wanted to do, unless it's really like New Year's Eve, and you have a million must-dos. But in most cases, you should be able to get through your must-dos just with a bit of good strategy studying up, with or without Lightning Lane. The difference is, because I'm not spending hours and hours in line today, I get to have a grilled cheese and wander the Walt Disney exhibit and see the Little Mermaid show, things that I might not otherwise have time for on my list of must-dos. And it just gives me a lot more time to just enjoy instead of being a constant revolving door of lines to must-dos to lines to must-dos to lines to must-dos. Now, in some parks, I recommend using Lightning Lane. In some parks, I don't. This is certainly a park that I recommend Lightning Lane in. I think you can see today I have had a much better time than a lot of these folks waiting in 90-minute, 70-minute lines. I recommend using Lightning Lane Multipass in this park, although I often will skip the Rise the Resistance Lightning Lane and just make that my one long wait of the day. Magic Kingdom is another one that I recommend doing Multipass and maybe not Single Pass. In Epcot, I skip both. If I'm going to get one, I'll get Single Pass for Guardians. I also am of the mindset that I'm down to stomach one long wait in a day, maybe two, as long as neither is super long. But if you have that mindset like me, then you can skip Single Pass a lot of the time and just make that your one long wait, or rope drop it. In Animal Kingdom, if you are going to get something, definitely only get Single Pass. Multipass is super not worth it. Green Argument Drum Corps. Yeah. If you're ever confused about your size in Toy Story Land, you're actually Green Argument sized. As you can see, the toys are a little bit bigger than you.
And 34 minutes. It is 7 minutes earlier than posted. The posted wait was 40. And we're ready to play, or ride, play. We're going to do it all. Game is like upsetting to me. Does anyone else get really upset and hurt playing Toy Story Mania? I need to retire from this game. I'm going to be honest and tell you that I don't play this unless I'm being engaged in a challenge and, or, just showing you how to have the best day that I know you'll like in Hollywood Studios.
All right, most popular ride in the park, Slinky Dog Dash. Family coaster where you ride in Slinky on a roller coaster through Andy's backyard of his making. A very fun coaster, surprisingly intense for a family coaster, to be honest. And it is officially 5 minutes prior to my lightning lane. This is awesome because this is a 70-minute wait, and Slinky is particularly important to skip for me because most of the wait is not only outdoors, but there's a lot of it that is actively in the sun. Most of it's shaded, as you can see, but it is a brutal wait, particularly in the summer. So I often say that the main reason I bought Lightning Lane Multi-Pass in my Hollywood Studios day was to not wait in this line, because it is a rough one, and it is a long one all day, all year. Doesn't matter unless something wonky's going on. I want to scan on the crayon.
Toy Story Mania, it was posted at 40 minutes and it actually ended up being 37 minutes. Very close to being perfect. We saved about 3 minutes there from what was posted when we first walked in. And I feel great riding it. My arm hurts. My arm hurts and it makes me, I don't know, is it angry? Irritable. I feel irritated by that ride. I'm sorry, I'm being honest. I love Toy Story. I love the characters. It's just this type of ride, this game competition vibe, you know, it's not my vibe. I like to compete against myself, which I was, so no, I don't. I don't like competing against anyone, including myself. We are just across the way from Slinky Dog Dash, a ride we must ride to complete our day. And we're just gonna walk right up and see how long the wait is. And probably just hop in the queue because that's kind of the point we're at in the day. We're gonna wait in line if we're gonna wait in line. We got 2 rides to choose from at this point. Slinky Dog Dash and Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. This is posted at 60. That's good for this ride. And this ride does have a reputation for sometimes letting you on a lot sooner than the posted wait. So I feel really good about 60 minutes posted right now for Slinky Dog Dash. Slinky Dog Dash was posted 60 minutes and we were just under 60 minutes. It was like 59 and change. So I'm saying that that was a perfectly accurate posted wait time and not terribly bad for Slinky Dog Dash. I am not going to even check the wait time for Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. We have no choice. This is the last ride of the day. This is the last ride we must complete to compete with Quincy's magical day of Lightning Lane reservations. So we're just gonna head to the ride, get in the queue, and wait as long as it takes. And a miracle has happened. After a whole day of watching the posted standby wait for Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run hover around 80 minutes, it has now gone down to 40. And it's very quiet over here, so maybe it's even lower.
A very fun midday ride on Slinky Dog Dash that I only waited 4 minutes for. Not too shabby. Okay, my final stats. So with Lightning Lane, it took me 5 hours to do all 7 of our rides. Obviously, I did some additional stuff in that time, but it did take me those 5 hours because I had to wait on my Lightning Lanes towards the end of the day. For my total time spent in lines today, a clean 48 minutes. That's it, to ride these 7 most popular rides in Hollywood Studios, many of which are some of the most popular rides in Disney World. So that is a pretty big win.
Well, all in all, we spent 5 hours and 20 minutes in line today. We got everything done, which is awesome, but 5 hours is a long time to be standing in one place, especially when there are other options. But those other options can be expensive, especially for larger families, and it's really up to you as to what is quote unquote worth it to you and your family or what you can afford. Of course, 5 hours and 20 minutes doesn't include the time that it took to ride the rides. That was literally just the time that we stood in line. But by doing that, we saved $240 among a family of 4 today. So I think that's pretty darn good.
So to answer the question, should you pay to skip the lines in Hollywood Studios? It's really up to you and your group. Use the information you saw in this video, and if the pace that I had sounds better than the pace that Breedlove had, great. If the pace that Breedlove had is one that you think is fine, also great. It really depends on your group's must-dos, how you want your day to go, and how much everybody hates lines. My biggest tip though is if you do decide you want to use Lightning Lane, budget that into the price of your ticket so it doesn't feel like a big splurge when the time comes. Go ahead and think about that when you're thinking about the price of the trip, and then it won't feel like an extra addition that you don't get to spend on souvenir and food because you're budgeting in as part of your ticket price. Overall, my personal answer is yes, Hollywood Studios is a multi-pass park.
If you made it to the end, go ahead and put this password in the comments below.
Plus, don't forget to subscribe. We upload tips, experiments, games, and more from Disney World and beyond all week.
Because we're serious about fun.
We'll see you next time.
You know, the other thing I was thinking is we save 50 minutes, 50, versus the posted wait times Disney put up. We're winners!